Do you remember back when apps were first coming into fashion that there was that phrase, there's an app for that? Well, sometimes when I'm overwhelmed and I have too much to think about, I say there's an acronym for that. And I come up with a word that really helps me focus on what it is I really need to be thinking about. If you're a small business owner and you're just getting started in business, you might feel a little overwhelmed, like you don't know where to begin. Well, I've got an acronym for you, so you might want to listen into this video. Hi, and welcome to It Is Your Business. Working with an accounting professional is always advised, but it is not a replacement for understanding how the financial side of your business works. I'm Teresa Rubino, CPA and owner of Rubino Tax. I'm a big picture kind of gal, and I firmly believe if you understand how tax and accounting come together and work with the rest of your business, you, the business owner, are going to make much better business decisions. If you're just starting a business, it's very easy to feel overwhelmed at the beginning. You have to think about not only what your business is, maybe there's a service that you provide, or maybe you have a product that you're bringing to market, but then you have to think about all the back end. What happens behind the scenes in your business? How your business operates? Are you incorporated? Are you an LLC? Are you hiring employees? My favorite, how do you pay yourself, the business owner? Let's not forget that. You need to get paid as well. So sometimes this can be really overwhelming. So in order to avoid that overwhelm, I created an acronym, SOFT. And we're going to break down each category and really focus on the essential questions you need to ask yourself. So by the end of this video, you're going to have the clarity you need and the confidence so you can move forward with your business. So let's start with structure. Now, when I talk about structure, I mean legal structure. And I've spoken about this in other video posts. Are you incorporated? Do you want to be an LLC? Maybe you want to operate just as a sole proprietor and keep it simple. There's pros and cons to each structure, but basically the structure determines how you act and how your business operates. It also determines the level of liability coverage that you get from the structure itself, and also how you're going to be taxed and at what tax rate. Let's move on to the next one, operations. Now, we could go down a rabbit hole and really dig in deep into all the details of how your business operates, but I want to keep this at kind of a high level and really the big picture operational items. So what I mean by that is, are you flying solo? Is it just you and your business? Do you have a partner? Or maybe you have outside shareholders that are investing in your company? These are the questions I want you to ask for yourself. Finances. What finances does your business need? Do you need some preliminary funding? And if so, are you putting that funding in yourself? Are you personally investing? Are outside investors giving you money? Or maybe you're just going and getting a bank loan. And then the last category, tax. Who pays the business tax? Now, this may seem like a very simple question. And it's like, well, my business pays the business tax. But here's the thing. Unless you're incorporated as a C corporation, you, the business owner, are actually paying the tax on your individual tax return. This is what we call a pass-through taxation. Now, you can take cash from your business and cover that tax liability, and there are certain rules to follow, and you've got to do it correctly so you don't end up paying additional tax if you take too much money out of your business. But basically, it's called a pass-through entity because whatever income your business generates, tax has to be paid on that. Well, that income actually flows through and gets taxed on your individual tax return, which means it is subject to your individual tax rate, which also means that tax rate is determined by all of your other sources of income. So it's not just your business alone. So I get this question a lot from small business owners. How much should I set aside for my business to pay tax? And I say, well, it really depends on what bracket you're in, and it depends on all of your other sources of income. It's not that simple. And again, C corporations, it is that simple. They are a completely separate entity, but anything else, sole proprietor, LLC, partnership, S corporation, all of those are actually subject to being taxed on the individual level. So it's funny because we hear about this low corporate tax rate, and it's actually somewhat misleading. You know, over 95% of the businesses in the United States are actually pass-through entities, which means they're actually being taxed at whatever their individual rate is, not this low corporate tax rate that we keep hearing about. This is not meant to deter you at all from starting business. There are so many perks to being self-employed, so please don't misunderstand what I'm saying here. There are a lot of ways you can reduce your taxable income when you're self-employed. This is meant to educate you, though, so you actually make the right decision going forward and you have the knowledge about how all of this works. So now let's sum it all up. Let's go back to this acronym SOFT that I'm talking about, and we're going to break it down. So for structure, number one, do you need the liability protection that a business structure provides? Number two, operations. Are you flying solo? Do you have a partner? Are you hiring employees? And importantly, how do you want to pay yourself? Number three, finance. How are you funding your business? Are you funding it yourself or do you have outside investors? And number four, tax. How do you want your business income taxed? Purely on its own, or are you okay with it passing through and being taxed on your individual tax return? So once you address these questions in these categories, you are well on your way to having a solid understanding of how your business works.